Hello, in this video I'm going to rework the Minecraft dungeon and give it an update, since the vanilla dungeon, it's only one room with a spawn and a chest, so there really could be more. And I know there are a bunch of videos out there doing exactly this, reworking the Minecraft dungeon, but I wanted to give it a try too. Besides, most dungeon updates use randomly generated structures, kind of like the Stronghold generates, with many rooms that are added randomly together and form kind of a weird shape. I decided I would stick to the cubiness of the vanilla dungeon and just make it larger and add various rooms. So after figuring out how the basics of structure blocks work, which is, by the way, how I found all the dungeon update videos, they are currently kind of the best tutorials explaining how to use structure blocks, I started building rooms for the dungeon. I tried to stick to the vanilla style and used mostly cobblestone, which on hindsight made the whole thing look kinda ugly and not really well designed. Anyways, I built rooms and then variants of those rooms so that there would be some randomness when generating the dungeon. Also, there are no redstone contraptions except for some dispensers, since I don't think zombies are really able to create redstone stuff. In general, the only real redstone things in vanilla Minecraft can be found in the jungle, so I thought I'd keep it that way, since I wanted to make the dungeon as vanilla Minecraft-like as possible. That also meant that there wouldn't be too many spawners in the dungeon, since no vanilla structure generates a bunch of spawners next to each other. And actually, even though I tried to use not too many spawners, the dungeon will generate quite a few. To compensate for the missing spawners, I added zombies, skeletons and spiders that are generated in most of the rooms via jigsaw blocks. So there definitely will be enough enemies in the dungeon. If you enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. I also reworked the vanilla loot tables of chests. In the new dungeon there are now 4 chest types: a common chest, a rare chest and a hidden chest, which is always hidden, kind of like the name says, and barrels with some loot. All of them in general have quite similar loot to what can be found in vanilla dungeons. I only added some smaller things and split it up into the 4 chest types, so that some things, for example, can only be found in the common chest and other things can only be found in the hidden chest, etc. Now to the dungeon itself. Honestly, I underestimated how much work it is to fill a 31 by 31 block cube, and I had to build variants for the rooms as well. Building only 2 types of rooms for every room that would generate in the dungeon was so much work, and for some rooms I have more than 2 variants. First, I built the entrance. It's always a hallway leading into a staircase. Sometimes there are doors to the side. The staircase leads upwards to 2 larger rooms, one to the right and one to the left. Depending on the staircase version, there can be different doors at the end leading to different rooms. So there are a bunch of randomly generated rooms in this dungeon. One room that always generates is the treasure room. It's basically a larger spawner room with 2 spawners and a bunch of chests and lots of zombies and skeletons. Also, building this entire thing was kind of an experiment for myself, because I wanted to know how structure blocks and jigsaw blocks work and how to generate structures into the Minecraft world using a data pack. In the back of the dungeon there is an area where multiple structures together build up a hallway and rooms. So I didn't save one room in one structure, but actually a slice of multiple rooms in one structure, and only together the structures look like whole rooms. And actually this is my favorite part of the build, because to me it has the most variation when walking through it, because you cannot see the beginning or the end of where the part of the dungeon was generated. It makes these rooms feel more random and unpredictable to me, which I really like. On the other hand, the 2 floors below look kind of horrible, because even though there are many combinations and variations in those structures, they always kind of look the same because they have the same base shape. But the whole thing was mainly for me to learn something, I guess. Anyways, now I had a dungeon I could spawn above ground, which is not the goal. The goal was to update the vanilla dungeon, which is underground and not above ground. And actually at this point, as I'm recording this, I have no idea how to spawn it underground, so I'll somehow figure that out. And now you can see how it's generating correctly, hopefully. The generation process itself. How do I explain this? Honestly, mostly I copied code from vanilla Minecraft and other data packs and was hoping that it would work. And somehow it did. Yeah, I don't know. But the basics are, you have your data pack. In it, the data pack folder together with a Minecraft folder, which you won't need for this. In the data pack folder, you have a tags folder, a world-gen folder, and a structures folder. In the structure folder, there are all the structure files that make up the dungeon or whatever structure you want to generate in the world. In the tags folder, there is a world-gen folder, and in the world-gen folder, there is a biome folder, and in the biome folder, there is a has structure folder. And in this folder, there are these files listing the biomes in which the structure can generate. Now in the world-gen folder, there are again 3 folders. In the first one, the structure folder, there is one file that looks like this, and if it doesn't, for some reason it won't work. I don't know why, but I tried multiple times. It didn't work. Most importantly, you have to set a path to the biomes folder, which defines in which biomes the dungeon can spawn or whatever structure you want to spawn. And you have to set the start pool, which defines the start pool of structures that will generate in the world, if that makes any sense. Everything else, I don't really know what it does, or at least not well enough to explain it. So it has to look like this. Then there is structure set. I think it defines a structure as a structure or something like that. I don't know, but here you can set like how often the structure will generate. Spacing is the average chunks between 2 structures, and separation is the minimum amount of chunks between 2 structures of this type. So yeah, that you can set in this file. Everything else, again, I have no idea about it. The third file is the template pool file. Here are all the pools referencing the structure files. If a template pool is used or activated or whatever it's called, it chooses a structure of multiple structures that are listed in the template pool and then generates this structure. Most importantly is the location, which shows the file path to the structure file that is supposed to be generated. Now in-game again, in every structure I have jigsaw blocks, and they also use template pools. The first line is to tell the block which template pool it's supposed to use. The name line is to give the jigsaw block a name that can be found by other jigsaw blocks. And the target name defines the name of the jigsaw block that should be generated next to this one. Meaning the jigsaw block is generated by a structure and then searches in the given template pool for structures with a jigsaw block that has the same name as the target name of this jigsaw block. If there are suitable structures, one of them is chosen randomly and then will be generated. Honestly, why did I decide to make this brief tutorial-like part? I'm not even really explaining anything properly here, so anyways, in the end, I had a beautiful or more not so beautiful dungeon that generates randomly in the world. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe. That would help a lot, so thank you. Oh, also there is a download link to the data pack. It's for version 1.20. It's like in the description below, so you can download the data pack there. Bye!